Hi, everyone, and welcome to a really special show. I know I say that every time, but this one really is because there's a lot new at this table. I'm feeling real new. There's somebody new at the table that's going to be joining us at the table. And as you can see behind me, it says Golden's Guide. So welcome to another episode of Golden's Guide with Deborah Hawkins and Lyanca Reyna that you're about to meet in just a minute. And, you know, I wanted to really set this up so you could understand why things are expanding is basically because I'm expanding. You know, this journey started 9 months ago, as you know, with the divorce and with being separated and lots of crying and tears, and my life, you know, went to heck in a handbasket. But you know what? Now I'm a different person. I'm 9 months in. I've had so much support. I've had great therapy. As you know, we've had so many therapists here at the table. I've had so much support at this table, and I really hope it's been support for you. But now, as always, it's a new time. It's a new day. And I'm ready to do and talk about many other things. I really want this show to be more, you know, not that I'm not going to not talk about divorce. It's still a big topic. But I want to expand and talk about other things and really invite women's conversations to the forefront and to the table. Now, I'm about to introduce you to Lyanca, which I might cry, which, you know, I almost always cry on this show. She has been in my life so long, and you're not going to believe this, but we did a podcast many, many years ago together. So this feels so good and so familiar. And you'll get to know her during this podcast. But right now, I just cannot wait to introduce you to her. And with that, welcome, Lyanca Reyna.
Hi, everyone. Yay!
I feel like we should have to cheers.
Yes, absolutely.
This has been a long time coming.
It has. It really has.
Oh, I guess I was supposed to drink, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's always good luck.
And also for the party, as you can see, we have cupcakes. I don't know if you can get a view of, they all have GG on them for Golden's Guide. And they came from the wonderful Wildflower Cupcakes who, you know that we love them. So, Lyanca, you're here. You're from Austin, Texas.
You're
all the way here.
I came all the way here to be with you. I'm so excited. It's, gosh, I feel like it's just been a long time coming. You know, you could speak on this too a lot. I mean, that podcast was something that we did that was really near and dear to our hearts. But I mean, you can tell them how we met. Like,
yes. Well, you know, we met many, many years ago. I actually went out to Austin, Texas for a convention, and I was only going to be there just for a few days, and I ended up staying like over a month. But I met Lyanca at this conference, and she was working for someone that I would eventually work for. And through working together, you know, even though we were miles apart, you were in Austin then, and then eventually you moved to Portland, we have always worked together so well. And I always called you my scientist mystic. You know, we're like the perfect pair because she always brought together kind of what I was missing, you know? I mean, she was kind of like my better half. Maybe you should really just be my better half. I shouldn't try to get better halves anymore, but.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, you really have made this big journey from, and I can't wait till we do the next episode because I get to actually interview you. I mean, you've been doing interviews on this wonderful show with Golden's Guide to divorce, really being that advocate. And you've been the advocate for so many things. So I'm so excited to talk about that in the next show. But, I wanted to talk a little bit about the past and, what was the show that we did before? It was, we did the Reveal show, and that was all about different topics that we actually had some of the same guests on before.
Yes.
So John Lee talking about things that are like, really playing that balancing act. Sometimes how the repurposing, I can't wait till we get into all these different topics.
I know.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I mean,
and the one thing that you have to know, I mean, we will talk about serious subjects, but we do like to laugh. There's something about humor pours in when we get together, and I'm so grateful for that. I feel like that's just such a blessing.
Yeah.
That you and I can be in the middle of crying sometimes, and then end up laughing at ourselves, which is a huge.
Oh gosh.
Everybody needs to.
Yes.
But back to what we were doing. We started off. We worked together for someone else who ran a very large speaker and interview series of different speakers, and I kind of did the communications. You did a lot of the sponsors. Sometimes we did each other's jobs, but we just kind of fell in love through that job. And we always talked about wanting to work together. And we were not quite sure what that was going to look like.
But I think we always had a hope. We always had this vision in our minds. We actually called ourselves Back of the Room Girls because we were always producing all this stuff for everyone else, talking about, envisioning out, what it would look like to actually bring something to light. And when we did, we put together an award-winning show that reached tens of thousands of different people all over the globe in 7 weeks. So we produced and remember that time where we were asking one of the speakers on, because you have to do all this stuff with just ideation, and so you have to ask these different speakers who have been on Oprah if they'll join your show without having any listeners, right? So it's just all vision. And so we're getting on the phone, and we have the speaker online, and we're like, okay, so will you do the show? Here's what we envision. Here's the other different speakers that we've already gotten to say yes. It does require, you to kind of put the information out to your people. Again, this is just all ideation, and we're still selling him on the idea of being on the show. And he's like, ladies, I already said yes.
Know, he had already said yes,
We're just going on and on.
But when you're starting something new like that, for you and I, we were really used to working for someone. And we started literally from scratch. We didn't have followers. We didn't have, much of a list. And I can remember you and I would get on the phone before these asks, and we would have to really talk to each other and say, we can do this. We're going to do this. We can do this. And when I look back, what we were able to achieve with being so brand new, and we knew how to do it for someone else.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But when you do it for yourself, it's a whole new element,
Yeah, I think that, have you ever sat down and tried to write your own, even your resume, and you sat down and you try to write, maybe your own bio, or, just talking.
Writing about yourself is really hard.
Right. And so this was trying to produce a whole show about us, or with us as the hosts, versus us promoting someone else, which we had been so accustomed to doing. And when we were trying to sell our idea or to give our vision, it was easy to want to, fall into that am I worthy enough?
Yes.
And I think that's just something that we've always stood for folks. And one thing I hope that we, really, with gold, actually, I'll just go into that. What do you see for Golden's Guide? Why this transformation?
Well, I think you just said it there, is like so many people, are going through challenges right now that are incredible. And what I realized through the whole divorce, Golden's Guide to Divorce, was everything I talked about and the support that I tried to put out there, it worked for any challenge, any loss, right? I mean, divorce was a loss. Losing your job is a loss. Getting COVID is a loss of health. I mean, and then it was also about something that you just said, which was, I think as women, or just as people, we have the confidence that we can do it for someone else, but not for ourselves. So I'd really like for the new Golden's Guide to really be a guide, an anchor, to encourage people, yes, you can do this for you. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Because when we look back and we've overcome a lot of challenges, and especially, like I said, starting off brand new with our podcast, I mean, we have a lot of help in this beautiful Pronk studio now, obviously. But, back then, it was just you and I. We didn't have editing. We didn't have, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and spill the whole beans here. I'm going to spill the whole beans.
I don't know what she's going to say.
She's worried now. Okay, so when we first started, we were both struggling, I would say. Oh, yeah. Struggling on a lot of levels.
Well, yeah, but we decided, stay-at-home mom. We had just packed up and went from Texas to Oregon because my husband was taking a really high-profile IT job at Nike. And when Nike calls, I mean, you answer.
When Nike calls, hello. Yes, I'm coming.
And I had left I worked in radio and television for a lot of years, and I had left my role in media. And I think a lot of women also deal with this, kind of that crux. Do I, stay at home with the children and raise children while my husband works? And that was a really tough time. And I didn't have my own, what you would call money, or I didn't have my own, I wasn't a breadwinner in the family.
Right.
So that was also something I was really struggling with at the time too.
Oh, we were putting everything together on a shoestring because you really didn't have an income. And then I had moved back home because my sister had developed cancer and she passed about 6 months after I moved back. So, we were in the middle of that and putting this together. But I'm so proud that we did it through all those challenges.
Yeah.
And we did it through laughter. We did it through encouragement. We did it through holding hands.
Yes.
And which is another thing. Yes. I really want to be that for women in this new venture that Lyanca and I mean, we want to hold your hands. We want to encourage you because we've been able to create some things that people would be surprised about. The one thing that I was going to say, you know what I'm going to say. She doesn't want me to say it, y'all.
I think I know where this is going now.
What I was going to say is that we were trying to do a podcast while we weren't trying. We actually pulled it off, believe it or not. But her son was very young. He was kind of running around the kitchen table, and she was trying to get him quiet. And she had a pitiful old dog that was struggling. And I was in an apartment, and I didn't have any furniture. And so my setup that you used to laugh at 24/7, I had a box with my computer, and I had a lounge chair to sit in.
But you had that lamp, that little...
That's right. I had a lamp. Oh, I had a lamp. I had lighting. I had lighting, yeah.
That's right.
And do you know that, and this is something that I want y'all to get. We produced really great shows and got really great guests. Even people who'd been on Oprah. Mm-hmm. While you were sitting at the kitchen table with your kid and your old pitiful dog, bless his heart.
That fell down the stairs while my 3-year-old son left the baby gate open. And we had a set of stairs that was like, and we're live because every show was live. There wasn't really a way, this is back when podcasts were very new. So there wasn't really a way that people were doing pre-taped. So, you had your guests on live. They were used to it. And my 3-year-old runs in and he leaves the baby gate open. So the dogs follow him up. And then one of the dogs gets all weirded out out because I'm trying to shoo them off, and the old dog ends up falling down the stairs. I'm trying to keep my thoughts together.
I mean,
I'm like, oh my gosh, she's got a hip displacement. I don't know what to do. And I'm really trying here. But we kept it going.
We did. I mean, we had so many events like that there were a lot of times we got off the podcast and we were probably in tears or embarrassed or, many, many different emotions. But we ended up laughing, just like we are now. And we learned so much. And, that's another thing I want this show. You and I learned so much about just showing up.
Yes.
Just showing up.
Yes.
And trying no matter what. I mean, we showed up live every week, whether we were sick, whether the dog was, on its last leg, literally.
Hip displacement.
And, when I look back at that time, I think we proved to ourselves a lot, even though we might not have known it in that red hot minute. Mm-hmm. Because when I look back now, God, I'm proud of us, Lyanca. And we're sitting here today because we were willing to risk it. I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of money. We didn't have, a beautiful studio like we do now, and we didn't have anybody to help us, and we didn't have very many funds. But we showed up, and it was a dream.
Yes, and I think that's, you started to allude to this earlier. I think that's the biggest thing about, what this whole show is. It's if you have that thing that you're still striving for, if you have that, that dream or that desire, or even if it's just getting up every day and just get up and show up, if that is just enough to get you through the next 24 hours, that gets you through maybe loss or grief or any kind of displacement, we just hope that this show would be that little bit of guiding light. And we're not the guides. The guide is really the nature, is really anything that you find that is kind of like, something that just keeps you going. And I think that's what we had back then, and I think that what we really want to be for tomorrow and for,
And now.
Yeah.
Is that when we find something that works, whether it's a book, whether it's somebody to interview, or whether it's something that we learned in our lives last night.
Or whether it's a cheers, right? Or whether it's a cocktail.
We want to be able to share that with you, and we really want, we've always wanted to support women. That's always been our dream, is to encourage people if we can do. We've been lucky enough to have each other, even though we've not been in the same town, but we've been able to always support each other. We've been those friends that even if we didn't talk for a couple months and we called, boom, we were right back. And to have a friend like that, especially in this day and time, man, that is a blessing. That is a blessing. Mm-hmm. And I've been blessed by you 1,000 times over. And it's just a dream come true now, a bigger dream come true. It was a dream come true to do it then, even in the lounge chair. But it's a bigger dream now because we both live so much more life. And I hope that Golden's Guide can be that avenue that helps us bring more information to people that are struggling or in overwhelm or think that they should put that dream on the shelf.
Yeah.
I'm a whole lot older than I was back then. You are too, by the way.
Ouch, I just had a birthday.
I know. That's right. Oh, yeah, she just had a birthday,
yeah,
y'all. Happy birthday. But yeah, I think remembering that you can have that dream at any point.
Yes.
It may not be exactly, what you thought, but it can certainly have most of the components. Mm-hmm. And I'm living that dream right now. Even through what we've been. Just the fact that I've gone from Golden's Guide to Divorce to us being Golden's Guide now. This is a dream come true for me, y'all. and having my partner that we've worked with together so many times. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Well, thank you. And thank you, for inviting me on this journey with you. Like I said, I can't wait to show, just how much you have been a gift to millions of people. I say millions of people all over the world, but it is really hundreds of thousands of folks. And, it's just been a fun ride working beside you, and getting to work with you on this desk again is amazing.
Well, now we actually have a desk.
Yeah, that's true. Not a lawn chair.
Well, yeah, we actually have a desk. I hope you all are as excited about this as I am. We're going to be bringing you, different guests. Lyanca and I have a lot that we want to talk about. On the other show, we talked about overwhelm and supporting women, and a lot of the things that we still want to talk about. And the biggest thing is we want you, we want you to get the real takeaways and
have a little fun here too.
Well, yeah, I don't think you can be at the table with us and not have fun. So we're about at time.
Yeah, so, Deborah.
I have to say this. I'm so happy that I got to introduce you.
Yay.
And that you're here on this journey with me. There's no one else ever that I would want at the table with me. And I feel really blessed about that. And I know that the viewers and listeners are going to feel that way.
Well, there's going to be a lot of topics that we're going to take on.
We're not afraid.
No, we've always spoke our truth, and that is what I think that we're really holding the space for people just to talk and to have open dialogue about some of the hard conversations, while having a little fun, but have some of those conversations out loud.
And I think we proved that with Golden's Guide to Divorce. And by the way, I think I mentioned it on the last show. Lyanca's actually been with me the whole time. I mean, when we started this in November, she's been with me behind the scenes, which I don't even like that word because she's so much more than that. But she's been on this journey with all of us from the beginning. So to have her back with me front and center, it just makes it even, that's the cherry on top.
I'm so excited. As final thoughts, what is it that you most want, even if it's just one person, to take away about the transition and this whole new show, this new vibe? Because it's a party. I mean, it's yay!
It is a party.
Woo-hoo!
It is a party.
It is a party that you really want the viewers to leave with.
I think that so many of us are facing things that we wake up one day and we never thought that we would face, and we don't want to face them, and sometimes we feel very alone. And I think what I want for this next leg of this journey is for people to know they're not alone. I want people to be able to come and watch us every week and know that we're at the desk and we want to help. And if you have any questions, please reach out. That's supporting women has been something, Lyanca. I mean, that's just lives in our blood. But I think that's what it is, Lyanca. I think it's about with help and support, we can get through, just like I got through the divorce and the heart attack. And here we are on a new journey. And that's true for everyone. Mm-hmm. And I want to remind everyone of that. And, and you're not alone. And we can't do everything alone. We need our friends.
We do need our friends.
And we need our support in order to branch out and go in the new directions. And my life is going in a new direction, and I want to celebrate it. And there's going to be a lot less crying. You might be happy to know.
I'm shaking my head now.
No, she's going, no, there won't be. No, there won't be. But a lot less crying, and hopefully, a lot more laughs for you and a lot more information for you to take away.
Yeah.
Because in the end,
we're still here.
We're still here. Thank you, everyone. Join us for our next show.
I am here.